Okay, Ridgewood, good afternoon. It is Tuesday, March 24th, and we are here with Mr. Luckenbill. Mr. Luckenbill, thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
What exactly do you do at Ridgewood?
It's a loaded question, I guess, but during the school day, I teach mostly band. I have 4 band classes that I team teach with Mr. Haas. And then I also teach music production class, which leads me to advise the music production club and kind of staff the RHS recording studio that we have there. In addition to that, I run a brass ensemble and direct the marching band, which is a huge part of my after-school hour activities.
Now, I understand you you went to Michigan State, correct?
That's correct.
Can you tell us a little bit about that and what you did with the marching band out in East Lansing?
Yeah, so out in East Lansing at Michigan State, not to be confused with U of M in Ann Arbor. But so that was a music ed program for 5 years. So I got to be in the marching band for 5 years, go to bowl games and travel wherever the football team went in terms of, bowl game travel. And then I was also in the pep band, and the pep band out there was actually represented the men's basketball team, the women's basketball team, and the men's hockey team. So it was always a busy time of year when we got to March, as we were traveling all over the country, on chartered flights with the teams and staying in the team hotels and getting to go to all the March Madness tournaments and, having a blast and making some memories through that. So I'm definitely missing watching those tournaments right now. But besides that, having those experiences outside, just being in a huge university with lots of opportunities, led me to really becoming a high school director, because believe it or not, going into Michigan State, I wanted nothing to do with being a high school band director. I thought I was going to be an elementary music teacher, maybe teach elementary music or beginning band for the rest of my life. And when I got to Michigan State and my marching band experiences, and it's so rooted in rooting for your team and your sports, which is huge for me. I'm a big basketball fan in particular, but became section leader of the marching band and started getting in front of the 60 trumpets that we had out there. And I was like, this is really awesome, and I want to do this for the rest of my life. And now I'm here being a high school band director, somewhere I never thought I was going to be going into college.
That's awesome. So one thing that you've mentioned before that I wasn't fully aware of about coordinating a marching band, a high school marching band, was the amount of, the amount of participation from different adults. Yep. Obviously, we know how many kids it takes. We see them out on the field. But could you speak to that a little bit? I know you told us a little bit once that, this large amount of adults that you have to help coordinate as well. So you've got the kids, but also this group of adults.
Yeah. So, marching band is just a huge undertaking. Besides about 100 students, have about 12 staff members. And that fluctuates a little bit from year to year, depending on people's availability and, having to fill the schedule. Because I also bring on some staff for band camp staff, but it's a full year job, man. Preparation for the next season starts as soon as the current one ends. So this past year we end somewhere around the beginning of November with competition season, and we have a staff meeting and start talking about next year's show. And we have an outside arranger who lives in Massachusetts who writes all the music. For the winds, we have a drill writer who writes all the shapes on the field. He lives in Texas. Our percussion guys are in New Jersey. So you kind of, go step by step through the process, from music to percussion to drill to color guard choreography. And that kind of starts in January or February, and takes months and months and months to do, and lots of documents, lots of actually Google Meet hangouts, because everybody's in different parts of the country, and, planning the show, organizing registration and rehearsals and all of that, So the 12-person staff is a undertaking in its own, I guess.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's impressive.
Mr. Luckenbill, I think this moment in history here, and, it's all obviously affecting our lives in different ways. First of all, how's your family doing? And then second of all, what has this last 2 weeks made you appreciate about our everyday normal life?
Well, first, my family is doing well. I have 2 kids, a 4-year-old and an almost 2-year-old, so trying to keep them entertained while planning and teaching has been interesting. And try to not, especially with the snow that we had yesterday and not being able to go outside. So been a little crazy, but for me, like from a family standpoint, getting time with them has been huge, being the marching band director and talking about all this time. The fall season, I'm almost never home. And then as soon as I say I'm going to be home, I have something else, so being home these last couple of weeks has been, as hard as it's been, not to drive everybody crazy and go stir crazy, it makes you appreciate being home with your family and makes you appreciate, hey, I can step outside. I can go to the grocery store without worrying, those sorts of things. The last couple of weeks haven't made me appreciate that a lot more.
And then, I guess before Dave gets to his, or Mr. Bailey gets to his lightning round, what's just, one, or it doesn't have to be one, but what's something special about RHS, you think? Like what makes it such a special place?
Mm-hmm. Whenever anybody asks me that question, I kind of always come to the community, just the student community, the parent community, the faculty, the entire village as a whole. You just think about the relationships that you're able to build and how everybody comes together through these tough times in particular, and just seeing how the rest of the world and some of the teachers are, having to adapt. We're in Ridgewood. I'm sure it's not completely seamless, but, you make it seem seamless. The students, for us in the band world have been incredible, turning in assessments and attendance at classes. I think that's a big thing for me, the community. And, just the last thing on that, the relationships, the marching band world and the band worlds, we get to see most of our students for 4 years. And often, even I'll call it a 5th year because of 8th grade, we start, hearing the kids, we start meeting the kids during 8th grade to assess them and place them in band for high school. And, building those relationships with the students and also the parents, all that parent time that I get from a marching band standpoint and get to know, that to me is the biggest thing, the community aspects, the parents who step up all the time whenever you need something, and those faculty relationships that you build over time.
All right, Mr. Luckenbill, we're going to get into the rapid fire round here. All right.
Cannot wait. All right.
All right. Biggest pet peeve.
Oh my gosh. Oh geez. What am I going to say? How about people who are late? Let's go there.
All right. If you had to be an animal, what would you be?
A whale.
Why?
I love humpback whales. I have no idea. I've always have.
Coolest place you've ever visited?
Wow. I haven't been to too many places, honestly.
Ann Arbor?
I love, yeah, no, not that. I'm going to say the Outer Banks, actually. That's one of my favorite places.
Person you most look up to?
Probably my dad. Yeah.
Why?
Well, he's a music teacher too, and my grandfather, and those have just been kind of my role models.
Wow.
Going through of how I live my life, and he kind of taught me a lot of life lessons that I apply today. So.
And what you're most looking forward to doing when we are released into the wild?
How about going to the playground with my kids?
There you go.
I'm looking forward to that.
Very good. Mr. Luckenbill, we really, first of all, appreciate all you do for our high school, and all of our kids. I mean, you have a mass amount of leadership responsibilities. I mean, directing the band, like watching you guys perform and the kids and just everybody in unison and, seeing the hard work you put in. The kids are very lucky to have you, and we're lucky to have you in the community and at Ridgewood High School. So thank you very much. And good luck with those 2 and 4-year-olds. Sounds
All
like
right, thanks, guys.
sounds like
Appreciate it.
it.
Thanks, Mr.
All right,
Luckenbill.
Mr.
Appreciate it.
Thank you very much.